Hello, this is Richard Welch with Emergent Biosolutions. I'd like to thank the sponsors for giving me the opportunity to present to you today. Um, my role in Emergent is I am the Vice President of Development Services in the CDMO business unit, and I'll go more into our structure. What I really want to present today is solutions for rapid development and manufacturing, specifically with responses to public health threats. So just at a high level, I always find it's good to give people an idea on who we are. Emergent Biosolutions has got a core purpose, and that is to protect and enhance life. Our business unit structure allows leadership and technical teams to focus on what is important for the business unit to meet that company mission. The focus of the leadership teams, the tailored strategies, all of these are put together focusing within the BU to meet a global mission to protect and enhance life. So as an example of how this works out, we have a broad portfolio. For instance, our anthrax response covers both vaccines and therapeutics, with Anthrasil as a therapeutic, and the rituximab as a monoclonal therapeutic that is going back into the market. And of course, the BioThrax was the lead-off candidate within Emergent as the first vaccine for anthrax in the United States. And we're now putting our follow-on vaccine, AV7909, into the Strategic National Stockpile. Another good example is how we approach protection against smallpox. We have both a vaccine, ACAM2000, as well as a therapeutic, VGIV. We also do threats that are outside of the biothreat arena and have been growing these parts of the business over the last several years. Included within our vaccines business unit is the travel health unit, which supplies both VaxCore and Vivotif, which are good ways to protect travelers going into areas where these diseases may be endemic. We also, within our medical devices business unit, have a wide range of products, including Narcan, critical in the fight against opioids, and RSDL and Trobigard, two of our flagship products that are leading the fight against chemical intoxicants and other nerve agents. And finally, to round things out from the licensed products point of view, we have BAT, which is our Hyperimmune against botulism, which is very obviously important if someone were to get botulinum intoxication. So specific to today's discussion, I want to go over pandemic preparedness. Emergent has been heavily involved in the threat basis to the U.S., working as a partner early on to the U.S. government for bioterrorism and biodefense. Over the last number of years, we've gotten more and more heavily involved working with the government, NGOs, or with private industry on responses to emerging disease threats. One of those partnerships that we have put together working with the U.S. government and BARDA that I'll go into later has been the CIADM partnership. There are several aspects that are critical to success in a rapid response. Partnerships are really good for smoothing the pathway to the business relationships, whereas platform-based processes such as vaccine processes or hyperimmune processes are critical to supporting and smoothing the pathway towards technical success. There are other technical areas that decrease the time that I'll go over. I won't read them in detail, but innovative responses to development to speed things up, rapid transfer into manufacturing, very flexible manufacturing facilities. All of this is obviously driven by a very experienced technical team and a technical leadership team. So, excuse me, Emergent is currently focusing on two key solutions for the COVID-19 threat. Obviously, one is therapeutics and the other is vaccines. So I will start with the therapeutics. So our therapeutic business unit has been using our internal hyperimmune process to generate therapeutics from plasma from recovering donors, leveraging a already validated GMP platform and a manufacturing process to rapidly scale and produce treatments that will help infected patients fight off SARS-CoV-2. Obviously, this is very important as other treatments come online, and the ability to do this has been broadly published in not only technical journals, but all the way through the Wall Street Journal as a very important tool in the fight against people who have contracted COVID-19. The use of the platform process, and I keep using that term because it does have real meaning, a platform like the Hyperimmune process is critical to a rapid response. It speeds up the development pathway, but it also can speed up the clinical pathway, obviously the commercial manufacturing and scale up, really targeting going towards emergency use authorization while the company that is developing the product seeks licensure to enable the U.S. government, the public health services, and just clinical treatment of people that have contracted COVID. The FDA has been very clear in their desire to use these kind of tools, and it's very important in getting a rapid response that will then go in to support this public pandemic. Platforms aren't just for therapeutics and hyperimmunes. There are multiple vaccine platforms. Vaccines cover a very broad range of different large molecules. They can be killed bacteria and viruses, purified antigens, purified virus-like particles, and then going on to platform-based approaches. These can include nanoparticles, recombinant viruses, and DNA, RNA vaccines that can make the antigens within the patient's body, hopefully conferring a rapid immunity. So vaccine platforms are clearly the quickest route to clinical scale up and production for the public. There are a lot of pros in vaccine platforms, and there's a large number of vaccine platforms out there that are currently entering into the battle against COVID-19. There are also some drawbacks to platform-based vaccines. Not every platform will be suitable for existing pandemics. There can also be very unique manufacturing requirements that a specific platform needs, not only for clinical production, but also for scale up and commercial production. And while many people use the term platform as if it's automatically plug and play, that is true sometimes, but it is not true all the time. And the ability to go in and rapidly make small corrections required in development for transfer, scale up, and manufacturing is absolutely critical to the ability to use vaccine platforms in a rapid response. So that leads me into the business unit that I'm a part of. So the Emergent CDMO Services, we're offering a molecule to market. We're playing, I'm proud to say, I think we're playing a key role in the response to COVID-19. And Emergent as a company over the last couple of years has really been expanding the development services, the manufacturing, to go from a CMO, which was originally doing drug product fill at our Camden facility, to now growing to a multi-site service offering, 4 in Maryland alone. We have a total of 8 sites across the entire network, and really providing a molecule to market service that we can couple with innovators in the market, providing our innovative development and flexible manufacturing with the innovation of our customers who have developed the actual core vaccine offerings to quickly turn around both clinical solutions and eventually scaled up manufacturing and commercial solutions. So one of the aspects of this molecule to market, and that is absolutely critical to being able to support a broad number of platform-based approaches, is the ability to take and customize the customer's pathway and link it to our service offering whether it's very quick turnaround time and broad applicability of the development services, or a very flexible manufacturing facility for drug substance that I'll describe more later on. The ability to then fill the drug product and supply both early phase clinical product all the way through launch and commercialization, and then final delivery directly to the customer of the product that they need, either for their clinical trial or, as we're all hoping soon occurs, is the use within EUA in the broader public. So I'd like to go on to our first partnership, and this is not the only partnership that Emergent is currently in. This one is just a good, strong example. In 2011, Emergent started working with BARDA to become one of the Centers for Innovation and Advanced Development in Manufacturing, otherwise referred to as CIADM. This work initiated in 2011, and what it has allowed Emergent to do over the years as we've expanded our service offerings is to support first the U.S. government and now moving on the broader commercial public in this type of rapid response for pandemics. Emergent has been involved with a wide range of these. I was personally involved with the response planning for some of the pandemic flu, as well as one of the vaccines that went out for the response for the Ebola crisis, and then became involved with the Zika crisis. So clearly the leveraging of the CIDM, the flexible manufacturing facility, both commercial and government partnerships, is going to be critical in continuing to get the vaccines that will then go out to support the public in this pandemic. So as part of that, and I touched base on this earlier, is really having a full set of end-to-end capabilities. And since I mentioned it earlier, I won't go over it, but just to give a little bit more detail, Emergent CDMO business unit provides the full range from very early development, preclinical, through process characterization. We support our GMP drug substance manufacturing sites, as well as our GMP drug product sites, and that has both viral and non-viral, final fill and finish and packaging. So really, it's an expanded service offering. We currently manufacture over 40 commercial products, and we've contributed to the development of over 200 clinical trial products. And we do have a wide range of public health authority inspections, including EMA and FDA and others. So getting back to the steps that it takes to really support these vaccine platforms, to support the innovators in the field who are looking for development and manufacturing capability. For those platforms that do require development, we've come up with a set of very simple and straightforward and fast approaches to support the final development of clinical or commercial processes, including the nanoparticle platforms, the recombinant viral platforms, and it covers everything from the upstream cell culture purification, but also the downstream formulation development in support of the drug product, really being able to rapidly solve any small issues that arise in development, and then again having a very fast, very fluid, very flexible transfer into the manufacturing facilities is going to be critical to getting the clinical trial material out. And I'll actually talk about one example of that in a little bit, and to supporting not only the early stage, but as the groups move through the clinical trial process into later clinical phases, as well as into more commercial scale manufacturing, to support the scale-up development and eventual process characterization and end of stage 1 validation activities required to move into stage 2 validation and PPQ. As I mentioned earlier, another critical component of really supporting these rapid responses is a flexible drug substance manufacturing facility. Here I'm referring specifically to our facility near the Bayview campus in Baltimore, Maryland. This facility is a single-use facility throughout the facility. That means we start go into seed trains, move into production bioreactors, go into all of the harvest and the purification, and everything is single train. So there's only single train product or single use product contact. This means no cleaning validation is required. This really cuts down on the amount of time that it takes to bring new products into the facility. It also allows us the flexibility to move facility components around. And when I mentioned earlier that we were able to go towards a more personalized approach to a customer's platform, the ability of the manufacturing facility to not be bound by hard pipe and steel pipe, but to be very flexible and fluid in their approach to these novel platforms is absolutely critical to rapid production of clinical trial material, rapid scale up, and hopefully rapid movement into a commercial setting. The next component of this is obviously drug substance is very important, but so is drug product. It's drug substance is not delivered to the customer's drug product is. So we have a full set of capabilities in the drug product space, including viral and non-viral. The facility in Baltimore near Camden Yards is our non-viral facility. It has 2 vial and 1 syringe fill line. It's the one that actually has over 40 commercial programs in support with some of the other facilities, over 70 countries, full support services, and very strong regulatory compliance. We also have, though, our viral fill facility in Rockville, Maryland. It's currently set for 1 clinical and 1 commercial vial. It is viral. It is licensed. We are currently using isolator-based fills up to BSL-2, and we can get batch size up to 12,000 vials. I will also say, though, that both of these facilities are currently undergoing rapid expansion, in large part due to the response to the COVID-19 crisis, to broaden the capability to fill both viral and non-viral products that we are doing for the innovators who are generating the actual vaccines. So I want to go a little bit over some of our current recognized partnerships. I will obviously need to keep this high level, but we are currently working with Novavax, which is basically a very smaller nanoparticle vaccine. We're working with them from development, drug substance, and drug product. We've got agreement to provide clinical supply to support phase 1 trial. I believe that it's proceeding per pace, and actually I was very pleased to see Novavax making the national news. It gives us an emergent, a very strong sense of pride that we're able to support this in the effort to get this into the clinical trial. A second program that we're working on is a group called Vaxart. We are working with them currently on the development services as well as the drug substance. This program is also proceeding apace. We're going to be supporting a phase 1 clinical trial in the second half of this year. And I fully expect us to meet all of those targets and milestones. And the third partnership, which has been announced, which is the agreement between Emergent and Johnson & Johnson to be the manufacturer for their drug substance. We're really driving, I should say the Bayview team is driving to enable readiness to meet the expanded needs that Johnson's working on, as well as working on meeting probable long-term commercial supply agreements, which are currently in negotiation. And I think this is a very exciting thing for Emergent BioSolutions and the CDMO business unit in specific to be involved with 3 of the key players that are working on this COVID-19 response. So I want to just have some key takeaways from this pandemic preparedness. As I mentioned, partnerships, I don't think I can overstress the importance of these. If you can establish these partnerships early, you can smooth out the business relationships. It makes things go much more quickly and opens up lines of communication. And I'm happy to say that I talk to some of our partners, if not every day, then at least every week. Leveraging platform processes where appropriate is obviously, as I mentioned, very important. As I went over the different vaccines that are currently out getting into the clinic or getting ready to go into clinic, the vast majority of these vaccines are platform-based processes. I mean, they're covering a very broad range. And I think this is the best chance that we're going to be able to have to meet the COVID-19 threat, is going in with multiple vaccines and really selecting the ones that give the best and the safest response. I've already mentioned the activities that we do to speed development for platforms where necessary. Anything that is high throughput or parallel processing, anything that we can do to get it out of the development services facility and into the manufacturing facility is something that we've been working on and developed. A key component of that is rolling technology transfer. At one point in time, we were actually working with R&D, development and manufacturing at the same time. And that is something that I have to say really highlights a true partnership. And finally, obviously development and partnerships are important, but the real effort comes in when you're leveraging your manufacturing, and you have to have flexible manufacturing. The flexible manufacturing has to really focus on what the customer and the innovator needs to be successful. One of those things, in my opinion, to be successful is if you have end-to-end capabilities so that you can support everything from the development through the final drug product. That simplifies the supply chain to the customers, simplifies getting clinical trial material out to the customer, and eventually will simplify the scale up and the final commercial manufacturing. So I'd like to close by, again, thanking the opportunity to give this presentation. I hope that this is interesting, and I'd like to close. We say Emergent delivers peace of mind in an uncertain world. I think that gets back to our core thing. We're really, protecting as many people as we can. The protect and enhance life is a core motto for Emergent. And for that, I'll close and say thank you very much.